Let's keep this very simple, because this is what I would want if I was in your position. When I first started to try to overcome this addiction, I was relapsing again and again and again, trying to make all these little changes here and there. But the thing is that I was going about it in the wrong way. I was failing to understand a simple principle, and that is that our life is nothing but the decisions and the actions that we take on a moment-to-moment basis. So in that regard, our life is a lot like a video game. If you think about a video game, let's talk about Skyrim for a second. I used to play Skyrim a lot. And when you play Skyrim, you have the main quest, you have all these different side quests, all these different side missions that you're doing. And you have all these different skills that you can level up at the same time. Now, as you're playing the game, every decision you make, every action you take in the game is changing the way the game basically plays out. Now, of course, the game has been written and all that stuff. We're not trying to get into that right now. What I'm trying to get into is the fact that if someone came up to me in the game and they were being followed by someone, and I had the choice of helping them or basically the choice of ending them right there on the spot, whatever I chose was going to change the way that the game was playing out in that moment. If I was playing a quest, like there was this one mission, it was the Dark Brotherhood or something like this. If you guys play Skyrim, you know what I'm talking about. And in this quest, you have all these different other quests within that main thing. If I went in there and I just started ending every single person that I was supposed to be doing the quest with, the NPCs, but I was ending them right there every single time, I probably wouldn't have experienced the entire quest, right? I probably wouldn't have experienced the entire playthrough, and I probably wouldn't have gotten the last sword, which is it was called the Blade of Woe or something like this. I know I'm getting a little nerdy with you guys here, but it's just so you can understand that the decision that I made to not end the people's lives that I was doing the quest with allowed me to play the entire quest and allowed me to get that final sword at the very end. It's called the Blade of Woe. It was a dagger, actually. Now, life is no different. Life is no different. Everything that we do, every single thing that happens in our life, it's an action and a decision that we have to take. And I'm gonna give you 3 examples, which I've been really thinking about. But 3 examples which there's a repeated pattern. There's a repeated pattern. Now, the first example, you are walking, you see someone on the side of the road, and you see that they're homeless, and they ask you for some money. Are you gonna give them some money and help them, or are you just gonna keep walking? The second example, you see an old lady struggling with her groceries. Are you gonna stop what you're doing, get out your car, or just stop what you're doing if you're walking, and you're gonna go help the old lady? Or you're gonna continue and just let her be? Third example, you see someone struggling to change the tire on their car. Are you gonna stop and help them? Or are you just gonna continue on and just let them continue doing their thing? The repeated pattern within these 3 examples is that you made a decision and then you took an action. That's it. If you can understand this, then you can make this whole journey, this whole recovery, basically very simple and straightforward. Because if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you get on your phone for an hour or 2, and then for some reason you're noticing that you're falling into relapse, hey, maybe it's that right there. Maybe it's that decision that you just made to get on your phone for a few hours that's leading you into relapse, maybe several days later or several weeks later or even months later. right? Because in that moment, when you woke up, you knew what you had to do. You knew that you had to get up and you had to get ready for, let's say, going to school, let's say going to work, or let's say going to meet someone or go work out or something like this. You knew that this is exactly what you had to do, but instead you grab your phone and then you start going to your phone. This is your decision that you made. Therefore, that decision that you made at that moment is changing the way that your life will now play out. You're not gonna see the story the same way as if you were to have gotten up and gotten ready. And it seems so insignificant. It seems like it's not a big deal at all. It seems like, how the hell is me just getting up and going and doing what I have to do? How's that really gonna change anything? I really don't know how else to explain it, because it's as simple as that. And if you can apply that to your life, you will see for yourself the difference that this makes. You will see for yourself how your life will change. You will start to live a life without addiction. You will stop relapsing. You will stop having these urges and falling into them and falling into these cycles of behavior where you just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. You keep feeling frustrated. You keep feeling angry at everything. You keep failing at everything that you do, never succeeding at anything, never being successful, never, well, that's the same thing, succeeding and successful. You get the picture, bro. Like, you're never gonna amount to anything in your life if you continue in these patterns of behavior. And you have to realize, like, we as human beings, we just follow patterns of behavior. We either create them ourselves or they are created for us. So really, it's in your hands. Your life is in your hands. If you want to change the way that your life is playing out, then you need to look at every single moment that's happening in your life and understand the principle that it is a decision and an action that you have to take. And always reflect on that decision and action. You know, not always will you be able to reflect on it. Sometimes you have to act very quickly, but at least spend maybe 10-15 minutes every single day in the morning to reflect on this and really think to yourself, okay, this is what my life is. This is where I want my life to be. This is what I want to achieve in my life, what I want to experience. And I know that what I'm doing right now is not going to allow me to do that. So this is what I have to do differently, and this is how I'm going to do it. That way you're keeping this locked into your subconscious mind. So when you go about your day, even if consciously you don't have the time to think about the action and the decision that you're making in that moment, subconsciously it's already wired into you as to, this is what you're doing, this is why you're doing it, and this is how you're gonna do it. So that's as simple as that. About that, some random dog just charged straight at me, scared the shit out of me, to be honest with you. And that's it, man. Apply it to your life, see how it works for you.